What is up, winning team? So I'm here to tell you about how this guy, right? One of these guys, right, tells me in the last couple of weeks, this guy who stopped me to talk to me, told me that he thinks I have snake eyes. And I actually want to unpack this whole thing. By the way, I'm still sick. I come out like under the idea of talking to someone and talking to the Lord, and now I'm sitting on the swing, even though I was only going to come up for 20 minutes because it's Halloween. But I don't know, this story just popped back into my head out of nowhere, because it was like a one-off thing. Like, it was just a guy that I literally just stopped me to talk to me, whatever. And he says to me, he was like, you got eyes like a snake. And I was like, and the thing is, this is one of the things that I find fascinating about these interactions, because they all have very interesting comments to make about my appearance, and I find it fascinating. Okay, so yeah, and I wanted to talk about this because honestly, and this is going to make me sound heinous, and the fact that I'm recording this on Halloween is insane. Felt like literally, by the way guys, I'm still sick. I'm taking every herb under the sun that the Lord would give to help me. So I'm a bit drowsy, my nose is blocked, my throat is hurting. So if you notice me coughing or whatever, or looking a bit drowsy, that's why. But I really wanted to come out and, do what I had to do. But then now here we are, which wasn't the plan. Anyway, but then when I remembered the story, I remembered how much I wanted to tell you guys at the time. Because I remember as soon as he said, you got eyes that like a snake, I thought to myself, that's new. That's why I like them. I love how this is one of the reasons I just kind of love the men of the world, because they're all just their own different flavor of something, and they all have something different to say. They all have their different part of history they love. They all have, they're all just different, you know what I mean? And it's actually so cute. So anyway, I was so complimented by that statement. And let me just take this off my... I was so complimented by that statement because I was like, ain't no way. Because if you are seeing that level of deviance in my actual eyes, that actually explains a lot of things. And I feel like it's because, right, and there's a lesson behind all of this. There's a lesson. I'm sitting on the swings. I already mentioned that. You can tell I'm not well because my brain is not functioning very well. But yeah, so like, I was like... because I feel like, I don't know if that's true. I would actually like to know if anybody else thinks that, like, in person. Because the reason why I feel like these things happen in person is because we're having a real life interaction, and I know what I'm thinking in my head. And obviously, my heart was long stolen. And so in these interactions with these guys, my confidence is like through the roof. I'm not feeling insecure. Because it doesn't really matter. Like, even if they turn around and be like, well, you ain't anything anyways, like, okay, who cares? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? And anyways, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So, so whenever I'm in these situations, I feel very confident, and it's fun because most of the time in life, I'm like feeling powerless, and like other people always have the advantage. When these scenarios, I have the advantage because I'm not the one who's worried here, and I'm not the one trying to prove myself. So I get quite confident when it comes to like eye contact and just what I have to say. And I tend to stare them dead in their eyes like the whole entire time. And it makes them sweat, and it honestly is really enjoyable. It does make them sweat because you can tell that they're not used to it. Like, I'm not there going like, oh my gosh. I will be like, oh, thank you, that's so sweet. Like, when they compliment me, like, but... in terms of the actual conversation outside of like complimenting me, obviously when they compliment me, I'm shocked because I'm like, ain't no way. I was thinking about the last compliment that I got before this one. That was the last best compliment I'd ever got. Was not even a compliment, it was a sound, because this guy just looked at me, right? But bearing in mind we'd had a conversation, like it wasn't in a weird way, and he just went, ooh, like this, and I was like, so that might still actually top the snake eye compliment. You might be wondering why I think the snake eye compliment is a compliment. I'm about to tell you. Because it just reminded me that at the end of the day, this is why I say long live the patriarchy, because at the end of the day, us women always have all the power anyway. And the only time that I don't feel powerless in life is in these kinds of scenarios, but like not in that way, because like obviously I'm not taking advantage of them. I'm just curious. So like obviously because I'm curious as to, in my head, I already know I'm not really interested, and I communicate that immediately. I want to make that clear. Any conversation I have with any man, I always tell them immediately, by the way, I'm not interested, like, etc., etc. If they choose to continue conversating with me and trying to prove themselves, that's their prerogative, and I only take it to the smallest degree anyway. But at that point, I'll hear them out, because I'm like, you know what? It's never nice to like try to do something and nobody gives you a chance, you know what I mean? So that's why I give them a chance, not because, with the simple fact of like, I feel like it must not be nice, like to like try your luck with somebody, or try and like speak to someone and they don't even give you a chance. So I try to just at least give them a chance, you know what I mean? And this is crazy for me because I'm a black woman and we're like the most undesirable as far as society is concerned. So I don't know how I get all this attention. I don't know how this happens. I really don't, because I feel bad for the women who are more like who are like the traditionally attractive, like actually attractive, like what other people want to have. Not to say black women are not attractive, because many black women are attractive, but I don't categorize myself in that either, because I've seen beautiful black women, I've seen beautiful women of all sorts. So I don't even know how this stuff happens to me, to be honest. That's why I'm always bewildered, and most of the time I'm having these conversations because I'm not even realizing that they're interested, because I'm assuming that they have to be talking to me for any other reason other than that, if that makes sense. Anyway, when we get into these conversations, it gets to a certain point where, wow, it's beautiful out here, and it's windy, and there's clouds, and it's going to be Halloween, so I need to get my skates on. I wasn't supposed to be out more than 20 minutes, so I was even saying before when I was leaving, but then me and the Lord started talking, and then the whole thing popped into my head, and I started to really think about, like, why do I find it so enjoyable? And I've told you guys I'm a very devious type of person by nature, and I just kind of enjoy the fact that, like, despite the fact I'm talking to like a grown ass freaking man with his chest hair popping out of his shirt and his deep voice and his I work 15 hours a week and I own properties all over the world and all this, little old me with my snake eyes, and I've got you in the palm of my hand. And like, I mentioned this for a specific reason. Obviously I exit stage left and move on with my life, but this is what the Jezebels are coming up with. And this is why Jezebel's work is so easy for her, because this is what she's experiencing at a higher level. Because like I'm saying, I just get the little taste, the little free trial version of it in my personal experiences. But I'm thinking, imagine if you're like a woman who, like, that's happening to you even more than it happens to me. And it happens to me frequently that I get these situations where I'm just like talking to a guy, and like the longer I talk to them, it's like, because I'm now actually giving them the chance. This is the funny thing. The more I have the power, because now you're feeling more like you have a shot, and now I can just manipulate anything. Because then they basically they all act like, and I'm telling you, this is all of them. They all act like, what do I need to do? Like, basically, what do I need to do? And that's the problem. That's why I'm talking about it, because I feel like this is what Jezebel, she like loves. For someone like me, it's like, listen, if I'm interested in you, I'll make that clear. I'm not going to be one of those girls who's like, no, if I like you, you're going to know. I'll probably tell you before anything, because that's the kind of person I am. But like, if I don't, like, the reason why I'm so cut offish is like, I don't want you to waste your time. You could be with somebody who actually really wants to be with you. I don't want you to waste your money. Like, don't waste any of your resources that you have in life. Like, it's a waste of time. And like, that doesn't mean I don't think you're a sweet guy, but it's like, listen, I can't be everybody's wife. Like, and this is a conversation I've had with the Lord many times. Like, God, I can't be everybody's wife. So where's the disconnect here? And I feel like when it comes to guys, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it is about me in my humble experience of it, or what it is in general, that like, they just are so lost in the sauce when they become lost in the sauce, and like lost, because it's like, I'm just here having a conversation, but I know full well that whatever I say, if you're interested, and depending on your circumstances, if I tell you that if you do this, you can have this from me, they're gonna do it. And that's what makes me feel like this is an insane amount of power, because I'm like, I'm just here, a broken-hearted ass, teacher who's 28, who's got literally, okay, I don't want to say I've got nothing to offer. I've got a lot of things to offer, to be fair. But you've worked so hard for like all this stuff that you've done. Like, that's why I don't like to take advantage, because I feel like, how am I going to take advantage of you after all you've done, like, to build to what you have? Like, I'm not going to just go and then just, like, that's just not even, that's not even nice. But again, if I was a Jezebel, and this is my point about Jezebel, is that Jezebel's like that. So when this guy's like, you got the eyes like a snake, and I'm like, yeah, probably, yeah, because the way I'm looking at you, I am thinking about you in a devious manner, because I'm assessing how much I can easily get away with if I play tactfully here, and I'm realizing that, and I'm not using it, but I am realizing it. So when a guy said that to me, you got eyes like a snake, I was like, and I was thinking to myself as well, that should be the red flag, surely. But of course it's not. It never is, because this is how they are. They always fall for the most wicked women, and they always feel like the women who are not wicked, like there's something wrong with them, or they're difficult, because the wicked women will always play into all of that. The wicked women will tell you, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, they'll manipulate you. Especially because I've said this before, men are way too fast, and this happens to me everywhere. This happens to me, and bearing in mind, I'm just in this humble town, so the fact that I've met guys of all ages, races, this, that, the thirds, jobs, whatever's, while I'm just going on my little walks, like I was just now, having a conversation with someone, you know what I mean? Or like, on the social media, I rarely comment anywhere, but I still have people sliding in the DMs. I'm like, you guys don't realize, like, when I'm talking to them, they sell themselves too much, where it's like, don't give away all the things that you have. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell a woman you got money. Don't tell her you want to do this. Don't do that. Do the assessment, because that's what we do. Like, that's why I don't be telling these guys. They'll be asking, what do I do? Oh, basically nothing. I'm just a teacher. I'm just whatever. I'm about to tell them that, I have all these extra skills. And if we're looking at the leaderboard of the ladies of the world, and we're taking an average on all skills, that I'm definitely number one. I'm not telling them that. Because obviously then they're going to be interested, just like how obviously as a man, if you are just like promoting yourself and giving everything out like that about you that you have to give, that is materialistic, you're not going to find a woman who actually loves you for who you are. And like, that's the thing. I feel like everybody deserves to be with somebody who loves them for who they are as a person above all else. You see, this is what I'm saying. I'm the real hopeless romantic in reality. So when these guys are telling like ladies like about stuff, it's like a good woman who genuinely likes you as a person won't care about those things, but will entertain you anyways. A woman who just is looking for some kind of benefit in life, because one of the things that us as women do, that men do, but we do it in an extremely different type of way, is assess that a man is just good for the job of what men are supposed to do, but have no interest. And honestly, guys, I'll be honest, it affects men worse than it affects women. That's why I'm saying this stuff, right? And so, like, you're telling a woman you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. You're not necessarily attracting a woman who likes you as a person. Also, in my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion. Like I said, I'm just a girl. I just happen to have a little bit of attention now, here and there, and I'm not at the top of the food chain. But one thing I have realized is that, like, I think it's so much more attractive when you're like just showing your personality, like by how you're talking, like, hey, how are you? How's your day? What have you been up to? I've been up to this. I do this. What, you know what I mean? Rather than like pitching yourself like this is the Dragon's Den or The Apprentice or Shark Tank as to why you make the perfect man. Like, it's so much more attractive to just get to know you as a person, because, listen, no offense, there's a lot of men who make great husbands, a lot of men who would make great fathers, a lot of men who would have good money, a lot of men who would be great providers, a lot of men who would be great lovers, a lot of men who would be great, you know what I mean? There's a lot of men who would be great at a lot of things. So it's like, what deciphers you is only going to be your personality. And that's where, like, if you catch me with your personality and you do something a bit different, you will catch me out. That's why this guy, when he was like, you got eyes like a snake, I was like, well, you know what? That is something I haven't heard before. Now you piqued my interest, because now I'm not hearing something that I've heard 100 times. You know what I'm saying? I know this all sounds so obnoxious, and I wish I wasn't doing this while I was sick. I'm feeling so like just drowsy and whatever, but it is what it is. The timing is what it is. Like, but it's like, no offense. Like, I'm not gonna say what I was about to, okay, I'll say it. I'll just say it, even though it's gonna sound bad, right? But it's like, listen, I've been told someone thinks I'm beautiful many times. You know what I mean? And it's like sometimes when you say stuff like that, especially as a guy, it doesn't make you seem sweet. It makes you seem enslaved, because it's almost like you're so overwhelmed by like what you're experiencing that you're not present in the room. And then that just doesn't make me feel like a person. That just makes me feel like an object. And that ends up meaning like good guys can end up getting the treatment that bad guys do, because it's just overwhelming. Because like, this is something that happens to me all the time, where I say to guys, I'm like, I can't speak to you and I can't go on a date with you, because I now feel responsible for the fact that you're so overwhelmingly like interested. Does that make sense? Because it's like, if I know that and I can see that, because I'm a woman and we see stuff, I now am going to feel bad if I take or do absolutely anything else with you, even just entertain one single date, because I know how interested you are and I don't want to lead you on. And like other women would. That's what I'm saying, that those of us women like me, we lose out in these types of situations, because, you know, we look like the bad guys. And because I'm trying to be always respectful, I've said this, like I never rudely, you know, reject guys, because I think it's tough. And I do think men should approach women first. But I do also think it's a hard job, and it's not nice to get rejected and to try again, you know, all that type of thing. But like, it was also like, sometimes when you're like trying to actually be nice, like, and actually just like, I'm actually thinking of you, like, I promise you that you might be thinking of what you're, because like men are short-term thinkers, which that's why they're so good at being providers, because they know how to wake up every day and just think, I just have to go to work today, and then tomorrow they just go to work tomorrow, and then the day after. I'm not like that as a woman. I can tell you, I'm always thinking of the long haul. That's why right now I'm distressed, because I'm like, the long-term trajectory of this, yes, can I make whatever amount of money, whatever, it's not good enough. You know what I mean? And they're the same in life. And it's also scientifically proven. It's also written in my book that, you know, they're short-term thinkers. So they're good at like thinking of the short term. And that's kind of the problem, because I'm like, look, short-term wise, today, you might feel like it's worth spending, and the amount of money these men are prepared to spend is freaking insane. I can't believe men spend so much money, because whenever I've gone on a date, right, and a guy is spending in the hundreds, and I'm thinking to myself, I know what you do for work, and I know your hourly rate. You've just spent how much of your week's worth on a date with me, and there's no guarantee of any type of solution, that any type of result at the end of this. That's freaking crazy. Like, and I get it, it's kind of sweet, because that's how they are, like, they're prepared to do everything. But that's why I'm like, you guys need to submit yourselves under Christ and protect yourselves, because there are women who will take advantage. And like, that's why I'm saying, I've been in the situations where it's like, if I wanted to just take advantage, I've told you guys, listen, if it came down to it, my current life situation, if I wanted to manipulate any of these men, I don't have to be here. Do you know that? I don't have to be going through the stuff I'm going through. I don't have to be doing nothing. I can't tell you how many men have told me I don't have to do anything, and they'll do everything. And I'm like, you know what? That is so sweet, and that is beautiful. And find a woman who loves you and cherishes you and looks after you the way you deserve. That's not going to be me. You know, because that type of love as a woman is only going to come from if you actually genuinely genuinely really love that person for who they are. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I love that. That's so sweet. There's nothing wrong. I don't say that in those words, because they're men and they hate the word sweet. Never call them sweet. Never tell them that was sweet. They hate sweet, you know. But I think in my head, that was so sweet. I'll say that was so kind of you, and I really respect that. And what a lovely gentleman you are. But I'll be honest, I feel like you should like genuinely save that for somebody who like really will love you for who you are, and will really value you like for who you are, kind of thing. And obviously it's not nice for them to hear, because they're like, where is she and where does she exist? And I've approached all these women, but it's the truth. It's raining again. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. It's raining again. I love the freaking rain. I love the rain. Yeah, I do need to go in though. This is like the Lord being like, you were supposed to be out for 20 minutes and now you've recorded a 20-minute video. And I was all here like telling someone else like, oh, I don't know, gotta be. Anyway, so yeah, you guys, I just wanted to say that like, it is a compliment to me because I'm like, wow, I must be good at what I do then, because and it is like, honestly, talking with guys in general, I'll be honest, I hate these videos. This is why I never wanted to talk about this. I said I didn't want to have to talk about men and women, but you told me that I have to start talking about it, so now I have to talk about these things. And I really do, because it is actually going to help somebody if they watch it. But like, I hate it. But you know, like, this is my experiences, and like, this is the thing, these are the things that I see and I experience, and when I'm seeing and experiencing them, it makes a lot of things about living very contextual for me. Like, it makes a lot of context. It gives me a lot of context as to why a lot of women, like, I see a lot of women, I'm not going to lie to you, I believe a lot of married women don't actually give a single damn about the man that they're with, and a lot of men have involved themselves with the Jezebel and they don't even know, because they're so just. And the thing is about both us men and women, but more so the men, I would say, it's winding and raining, and here's me making videos on the swing. If the welcome to the winning team, this is how things will operate here, okay? drinking my back to health drink and my, you know, on the swings and in the rain and wind. But like, this is where I feel like, you know, it's one of the examples of where there's a disconnect between the understanding between men and women, because women think that's a good idea, but it doesn't last very long, because my thinking is, even if you're faking something and pretending you're interested in somebody, it's only going to last so long. So it doesn't surprise me how many divorces end up happening, or how many women are not really happy, or men, you know, and then it's not good. It's not good for anybody. I've realized it's not good for anybody. It's not good for a woman to be with a man that doesn't make her happy, or a man to be with a woman that doesn't make him happy, because then you're both trying to make each other happy, and it's not going to happen because you're not compatible. Probably why that's not possible in the first place. And then you just keep pursuing that. Okay, my headphones are going to get wet. You keep pursuing that because you're hoping it's going to be possible, but it's not possible, and it's only going to last so long. Like, it's only going to last so long. You're going to have, oh my gosh, the engagement, oh my gosh, we're in love, oh my gosh, we both are dedicated to each other, we're going to get married, we're going to go to like this, and then you get married and you get the house, and then you have the kids. And that's why I feel like it always comes like after the kids and after a while that people end up getting divorced, because you realize that, oh, there was nothing more here. And that's why I'm saying this stuff, as if to say, excuse me, I can't even burp you on camera, but I can get away with it. That's what I'm saying. The men have told me I can get away with anything. The amount of things I get away with in front of guys, the amount of things I've said to them, and they just still are interested. I'm like, you guys are not okay in the head. But anyway, it's like, if I feel like anybody who is interested in anyone, this is my unexpert advice. I can't believe it's actually raining this hard now. Anybody who's like interested in anyone, even as a Christian especially, the number one thing you should be thinking about, before even if they're a believer, but the believer thing is also important, right? Just as important. So it's like these two things together has to be somebody that actually likes you, and somebody obviously who knows the Lord, like in a similar way that you do. And I'm not the expert, okay guys, but all I'll say is that from the conversations I've had, the stories I've heard from both the ladies, from both the fellas, of like their experiences, and I've heard so many stories because I've had so many opportunities to hear so many stories throughout the years from both men and women, where I just get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I hear everybody talking about, I want this, a woman that does this, I want a woman that does this, I want a woman that does that, or I want a man that does this, I want a man that does this, I want a man that does that. I almost never hear anybody other than myself talk about, I want to be with somebody that I like. Somebody who I like, who I never want to be away from. You know what I mean? First and foremost. And then, of course, Son of God, which I already did a whole video about the sons of God. So if you want to know that whole breakdown. Anyways, I'm going to sit on the swing actually for another few minutes and listen to some music while I sit on the swing while it's raining and it's windy. Because it's about to turn into Halloween in the next couple of hours. And honestly, now that I'm here, and now that I made a video, I feel like I'm productive. So I should just, you know, grant myself the opportunity. But I just thought I would say this because I feel like when this guy was saying what he was saying, he wasn't wrong. That I do have eyes like a snake. That's the thing you should be thinking about. And that shouldn't be making him more interested. That should be putting him on red alert. Because, like, why is it? Why is that? Maybe that's a negative sign. Just like I say about Adam and Eve. It's like, why was Adam just there letting a serpent talk to his wife? And it's actually quite ironic because last night, you guys, I've been asking the Lord, I'm like, I don't even know what a serpent is, and I could obviously Google it. But last night, I kept having dreams where I would see, like, the precursor to a snake, like as a serpent. And it was so weird. It was creeping me the hell out because obviously, why the hell am I dreaming about that? But I kept seeing like a serpent, like a snake-looking thing, but on legs, but not like a lizard, not like anything else I've ever seen. And I would see that it would turn into a snake. And I was really creeped out by all these dreams, right? And now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, goes back to what I say, like, you know, the clues are in creation. Sometimes something looks like it's not trustworthy because it's not. In the same way that if I'm looking like, oh, you look like you've got eyes like a snake, you guys might all start thinking that. And I'm like, oh, she does. Yeah, and that's because I'm devious, delinquent. I've just been saved by the Lord. I was, you know, whatever. And I was thinking it's funny that today's Halloween. I'm obviously feeling so allergic to the whole day and I feel uncomfortable every Halloween. But it's ironic because it's like the celebration of death. I'm going to come back to that, guys. Don't worry, I've got a video for you all. It's like a celebration of death and whatever. And that's the thing that I've always felt the closest to is dying. And I'm just thinking it's no surprise that somebody would think I've got the eyes like a snake. And like I said, they're very easy to manipulate. A lot of these guys, I don't even answer their questions honestly. I honestly lie to a lot of them. Not because I'm a liar, but because I'm like, if I tell you the truth, I know you're going to jump in and try and be the savior of my entire life. And I really appreciate that. And that is such an impressive tactic. Like, I honestly think it's one of those things that humbles me as a woman and makes me tattoo myself along with the patriarchy, because I'm like, that is such an admirable, it's not a pathetic attribute, it's admirable. I think that's so admirable. I think that's something that humbles me as a woman. It makes me realize, you know what, we really give the men a hard time and we really don't appreciate them for how much they're willing to do for us. And that message is always confirmed and reinstilled and reminded to me because of how God is, and how no matter what I'm doing, I'm here just yapping away on the swings, talking to you guys on Halloween, you know, when I'm supposed to not be here, and I'm just, you know, unwell and like not very useful for anything at the minute. But like God, Jesus and the Holy Spirit, they haven't relented off of how hard they're working for me and for my life and for my success and for me, my own happiness. Like, God, I don't care about being happy, but God cares about me being happy. And that was one of the hardest things me and the Lord had to deal with, because I was like, God, why do you care? Like, I asked him like a billion times over years. And then I ask him sometimes, I'm like, God, why do you do everything? Like, I remember I asked him this at the end of last year. I was like, God, why are you doing so much? Like, why are you fighting so hard? And his answer was simply this: because I love you. I was like, what kind of love is this that doesn't exist here? So I get it. And I do feel like the gentlemen of the world, they're very much like that. And that's why I don't take advantage of them, because I really appreciate it. And I want them to be able to like benefit off of that and get what they deserve. But also, like, I can see that, like, as a woman who's like how I am with my own temperaments, if I wanted to be wicked, that would be my perfect victim. Hence Jezebel, hence the state of the body of Christ, where we have weak men, strong women, because the men are enslaved to Jezebel in one way or the other. That doesn't necessarily mean in a sexual way, although that's what everybody always thinks, but not necessarily like that. I've explained that before. And then the women who kind of want to be her minions, want to have a taste of I would love to control a guy. I love a guy that does everything for me, that worships me. I don't want to be worshipped. Worship Christ. Appreciated, loved, valued, sure. Don't worship me. I want to be loved, appreciated, and valued. You deserve to be loved, appreciated, and valued. And Christ, God is the one who deserves to be worshipped. You understand what I'm saying? So anyways, you guys, if life's a game that's pay to win, I know this video is kind of unhinged and I'm just drowsy and ill and sick and it's raining and it's crazy. But honestly, most of the time, my best videos always end up being the ones that were the least well planned. So anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. I'm going to sit on the swings for a couple more minutes and just swing and listen to some music and just sit in the presence of the Lord for a little bit. And then I'm going to head back because obviously it's Halloween. And again, isn't it ironic? Because I am the one who has multiple, not just one, more than one witch dresses. Because I was like, I want to dress as a witch because not for Halloween. This is long before Halloween. This is last year. I was like, everybody gets to dress like something they're not. So I want to participate. So because I'm obviously a daughter of the king, and everybody else wakes up and they're like working for the kingdom of darkness, but they walk around like with all their prim and proper outfits and looking like the perfect Christians. I was like, I want to have a taste of the other life. So I have my outfits, and I'm not going to lie to you, I will look bad in them, but I've known that every time when it gets to this time of year, obviously I'm not going to wear them and I'm not going to like take any photos. But listen, when winter hits and there's no leaves on the trees, just you wait. You guys are all going to see that I really am that girl. Like, I've been getting attention like this while I've been walking around looking homeless. Not right now so much, but I am sick or whatever. But just you wait for the day I do my photo shoot in the forest. You guys aren't even ready. Because if life's a game, let's play to win. I love you guys so dearly. And like I said, I know it sounds heinous what I'm saying, but I'm saying it for educational purposes because another person isn't going to tell you, like another woman isn't going to tell you because she's going to want to benefit off of it. So I'm putting myself on the line, as always, to now look like the villain and now look like the problem and now look like the only one who's doing the wrong thing. But I'm telling you guys so that you know what you're up against. And I'm telling you that, listen, whether you believe I'm choosing to live that life or not is up to you. But I'm just letting you know because I want to see everybody win. And I hope that you guys are seeing from my most recent videos, even more than ever, that everything I say to you is just simply because I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody get the love, the value, the appreciation they deserve, the life they deserve, the win they deserve. Because I believe that's what God desires for all of us. So I don't want to step in and take advantage of anybody. I don't see the value. I don't like the idea of manipulating somebody to get them to do something. I feel like I'm more impressed by somebody doing something from their own free will. That's more meaningful to me than me controlling someone. And also I just want to see everybody happy and get what they deserve and whatever the Lord has in store for you. So anyways, guys, I love you dearly. Sorry that I've been ill and sick and whatever, but listen, the show must go on and your girl is feeling a bit better. I've been drinking me liquids, I've been making me concoctions and whatnot to get me through. And I went shopping just now and I bought some good ingredients. I've all prepped all of that, so that's why I came out, because I had to do something quickly. But it's all prepped now, so I'm good for the weekend now and I'm all prepped. And my whole goal is going to be to upload some very important videos. But yeah, I just randomly started to think about this guy telling me that I got the eyes like a snake, and I thought, wow, you know what's crazy? I think that's accurate. Because what I was thinking when I was looking at this guy and I was looking him dead in his eyes, it's like, yeah, I was thinking devious thoughts, but not because I was going to actually be devious, but I was just gauging that how much power I had in the situation and how many times I've been in that exact situation and how much men, no matter what, even in all their circles, this is why listening to men talk to men about women makes me laugh. The same way it does with us as women, to be honest. It's like, you guys don't understand women at all. And because you've had too much of a patriarchy and you've come from fathers who are just tyrants and grandfathers, you guys don't understand anything about women. Like, to be honest, in my humble opinion, I love you guys dearly. And this is why I wrote my book, The End of the Beginning. It's on Amazon if you want to purchase it. And I talk all about men and women, my theory of the law of entropy and how it started with the breaking up of Adam and Eve. If you want to go and check it out, purchase it, whatever. But I break down all of this stuff in there. So about the scientific differences between men and women, my opinions about the differences, why I think how we work well together, how we don't, etc., etc. It's all in there. There's even a bit about how men work as a good team together and the negatives of that, how women work together and how's the negatives of that, how men and women work together, how's the negatives and positives of that. Then there was a whole section of me and Jez3be going back and forth about what if only Eve ate the fruit, or what if only Adam ate the fruit, what if they, all these things. It's all in there. So if you want to go and hear about that and hear more, then I would recommend getting my book, because it's just too much to say in a video. And I wanted to include the science as well to prove that the science is not going against what I'm saying. Anyways, I love you guys so dearly. I wouldn't put myself out there to the slaughter of the Jew, the sheeple. They're just going to call me a whore and tell me whatever just because I'm being honest about my experiences when I've been approached by guys. But I just wanted to help everybody. Anyways, I love you. God loves you. I'll see you in my next one.